Alpha November comes in with an excellent question, and he says,
New PC have a Gen 3 Kingston NV1. Is it bad? Question mark. Only for gaming, browsing, and Photoshop. Is there a real benefit for Gen 4.5?
buy Windows 10 Professional for $15, activate instantly online with Microsoft, and keep it forever. Don't pay full price. Get the best deal from our sponsor, URCD Keys, using our link in the video description below. Full details on how this amazing deal works at the end of the video. That is an interesting question because cheap budget drives are better than some of the premium drives from many years ago. However, there are exceptions depending on if it is QLC or DRAMless or just bad in general. That particular drive is what we call a budget drive. It is not a terrible drive, but it is not an epic drive either. I have pulled up the review from Tech Power up here. Kingston NV1 review, slow but affordable. Well, it's definitely faster than a hard drive. However, it is definitely not as fast as some of the more modern drives. So his question was about Gen 4, Gen 5 versus Gen 3. But the gen of the drive doesn't mean as much as a lot of people think. There are some Gen 4 drives that are actually slower than Gen 3 drives, because the best of the Gen 3 drives have about a 3.5 gigabyte per second maximum read speed and typically about a 3 gigabyte per second maximum write speed. Now those are sequential, not random, but really good Gen 3 drives will do anywhere between 60 to 80 megabytes a second, queue depth 1, thread count 1, 4K random read and write with anywhere between 500 to 600,000 IOPS.
Okay.
Some of the cheap budget Gen 4 drives that now exist won't even do those numbers. They're QLC drives. They have limited numbers of NAND channels. They have slow controllers with no DRAM buffers. I have seen some Gen 4 drives that struggle to do 3 gigabytes a second, that are slower in random IOPS than Gen 3 drives, because the gen is just the interconnection speed on the motherboard to your PCI Express bus. It has nothing to do with how good the chips are, how good the drive is. You can put the crappiest, cheapest junk chips onto a Gen 4 interface and say, it's a Gen 4 drive, look how awesome I am. It's marketing. Those garbage drives exist so that pre-built computer companies, so Dell can advertise Gen 4 NVMe while using garbage. Yeah, it is a thing. And so the real question is, what is a good quality drive? A proper Gen 4 drive. The first gen of Gen 4 drives are 5 gigabyte per second, but the second gen and later on the more recent ones are 7 gigabyte per second. If you're not getting 7 gigs a second sequential, what's the point of a Gen 4 drive? You might as well be on Gen 3. And in terms of random performance, you hopefully should be close to about 80 to 100 megabytes a second in random performance, with 800,000 to 1 million IOPS. You're looking at a Samsung 980 Pro or 990 Pro, a SK Hynix P41 Platinum. You're looking at a Western Digital SN850X. You're looking at a Team Group MP44. You're looking at, well, I really wouldn't look any further than that because there's really no reason. The price of these things has come down so much, why bother? This is an absolutely ultra cheap drive. It is QLC, not TLC. TLC is better. QLC is not. It has no DRAM buffer. This is a horrible boot drive. You could use it as a data drive or a game drive or a supplemental drive, but really, this is an ultra super cheap drive. I would not use a Kingston NV1 in any of my machines as a primary drive, and I really wouldn't want it as a secondary drive, except I would consider it as a third or fourth drive used for documents and OneDrive or G Drive, and just sort of as a supplemental extra space because I had it.
Look how expensive they are. I guess it was from 2021.
Yeah, it's all out of date. Even the 2 terabyte version only has 480 terabytes of life rate. That's horrible.
That is horrible.
Modern drives are closer to 2 petabytes for a 2 terabyte size. I mean, or at least 1600. So if I were you, I would replace that drive. And now, I don't know if you're in the United States, but if you're in the United States right now, you can buy If you want a Gen 3 drive, the Team Group MP34 is currently about $70 for a 2 terabyte drive. That is a 3.5 gig per second TLC, DRAM buffered, premium performance drive that is very similar to a Samsung 970 EVO. I own several of them.
He does.
They not only are they good, but they're good with sustained use. You could read and write to them to your heart's content, and they are very, very good drives. And for $70 for a 2 terabyte quality drive, why would you screw around with anything else? Except if you already own it. Do you have anything you want to add to the whole using cheap low-end drives versus decent drives? Looking for a Windows 10 or 11 product key, but you don't want to spend $100 to $200 for it? Our sponsor, URCD Keys, provides discounted Windows keys at amazing prices. $15 for Windows 10 Professional, $21 for Windows 11 Professional, and just $60 for Microsoft Office 2021 Professional Plus. These product keys are the real deal. They activate directly with Microsoft Online, link to your Microsoft account, and they work forever. For Windows, you simply go to Settings, Update and Security, Activation, click Change Product Key, paste the key provided by URCD Keys, and in seconds, you're activated with Microsoft. For Office, go to setup.office.com, sign in with your Microsoft account, paste the product key provided by URCD Keys, and then download Office 2021 Pro Plus directly from Microsoft. Remember to use the discount code TD20 to save 25% off the already deeply discounted prices and support our channel at the same time. We have been using product keys from URCD Keys for almost 5 years now without any issues and encourage you to do so as well.
Using an SSD without a DRAM buffer is painful. So I tried that once. I'm not going to do that again.
Updating World of Warships took forever.
Yep.
And the minute you launch 2 of anything, oh boy.
No, you're done. So if you do have an SSD that does not have DRAM buffer, then you have to plan your updates, especially if you use your computer to make money. If you're on a schedule, then you have to plan. So if you don't want to have to do that, then...
A year or two ago when the price gap was larger, I understand some people on a budget would say, well, but you can currently buy the 1 terabyte version of that for like $34.
Yeah.
There's no longer any excuse to use garbage. Life's too short to use cheap drives when they're this cheap. Now, to our viewers who are overseas, you might say, well, we don't get those cheap prices. I don't know what to tell you. I think and work in USA prices. I respect the fact that prices are different elsewhere, but I can't account for 200 nations in the world.
Yeah. So
hopefully that helps you out. I would replace that drive. I really would. And that doesn't mean you have to throw away that drive. Maybe it becomes a secondary drive that you use for like your documents, but replace that thing.